Welkom bij de 4e aflevering van onze langzame dan langzame reis van Kampen naar Moskou. Maar we zijn nu in Venetië! Waarom zijn we in Venetië? En hoe past Venetië in ons verhaal dat gaat van Kampen naar Moskou? Als eerste, we zijn in Venetië omdat met de COVID-19 we nu een kans hebben om het echte Venetië te zien, zonder de massatoerisme. Ten tweede past Venetië heel erg goed in ons verhaal, want Venetië was natuurlijk een enorm belangrijke handelsstad, zeker tot en met de 16e eeuw. Want tot die tijd hadden zij de monopolie op de handel met het Midden-Oosten. Dat maakte Venetië een hele rijke stad. Er zat een heel bijzonder verhaal achter de reden hoe Venetië daar zo groot in heeft kunnen worden. Ik sta hier voor de Arsenale. En de Arsenale was de vroegere scheepswerf van Venetië. En ik sta hier met een reden. Want het feit dat Venetië zo groot heeft kunnen worden als handelsstad, heeft mee te maken met hoe ze de handel hadden georganiseerd. En deze scheepswerf speelde daar een hele belangrijke rol in. De scheepswerf was namelijk in handen van de overheid. En het was de overheid, de stadstaat Venetië, die deze schepen bouwde. En ze bouwden er honderden. En deze schepen werden vervolgens gebruikt door de koopmanslieden om handel te drijven. Dat is een voordeel. Het tweede voordeel was dat de stad Venetië ook de konvooien organiseerde richting het Midden-Oosten. Dus dat betekende dat de boten op dat moment ook beschermd waren met oorlogsschepen tegen bijvoorbeeld piraterij. Dit verlaagde de risico voor de koopmanslieden natuurlijk enorm. En dat is ook een van de hoofdredenen waarom Venetië zo groot is geworden als handelsstad. De schepen die hier op de Arsenale werden gebouwd, waren de zogenaamde galleys. En dat waren hele ranke schepen. Super perfect om snel mee te varen, super wendbaar. En ze konden ook nog wel wat vracht vervoeren, voornamelijk dus de zijde, de kruiden, maar ook de suiker uit het Midden-Oosten. Maar ze waren niet geschikt voor de zware vrachten, zoals bijvoorbeeld marmer, waar deze leeuw uit is gemaakt. Die konden niet op de galleys vervoerd worden. Daarvoor werden trabaccolo gebruikt.
E l'importanza della barca, dei trabaccoli, perché i trabaccoli contengono tutta la storia millenaria della cultura marinara del Mediterraneo.
The importance of the trabaccolo is actually that this kind of boat concentrates in itself all the history of the Italian and actually the world navy. So it still contains and preserves some elements we don't need any longer, but on the contrary, that were in the past very, very important, such as the apotropic eyes to keep the boat safe. Of course, the boat had to see where it was going. Nowadays we have other tools, other instruments such as the compass or the radar. The boat still preserves the sheep skin that was absolutely important to bring luck to the boat. Nowadays, again, we don't need luck, and maybe we don't need the same skill that the old sailors needed. Nowadays, everything is different, and the risk is that everything was so essential and important in the past get lost and forgotten forever.
Maybe you can also tell a little bit about this sign in the back, because I think this is also very typical for a trabaccolo. Trabaccalo.
Questa è una parte importante della barca perché Si chiama gioia.
So that piece of wood that is carved is very important for any kind of trabacolo, any kind of boat. It is called gioia, gem in English, just to underline how important it is. Every piece is different in any kind of boat. So the gioia was sculpted exactly according to the requests of the captain, and it represents Ulysses in the center and the two mermaids.
I was wondering if there was also a place in Venice where these trabacolos were built.
Certamente i trabacoli vengono
In the past, the trabacolos were built all over the Adriatic because the shape of the ship, the sails, worked. They were very successful. And so in the past in Venice, many of them were built in the Giudecca, on the Giudecca Island, or in Cannaregio, that is the northern area of the city. Nowadays, unfortunately, only one boatyard is left able to build something like this, and it is the Casaril boatyard, located actually in Cannaregio.
The name trabacolo, is it only meant for this kind of ship, or is it a general name for cargo ships?
No, il nome trabacolo identifica proprio questo tipo di imbarcazione.
Trabacolo is not the name, a general name, but it is used just for this kind of boat. And this kind of boat has got a peculiar relationship between the length and the width, and also the sails are absolutely peculiar. They belong to this kind of boat only. We don't know the origin of the word trabacolo, and the proportions, the shape of the sails, how they are used, actually are the same ones you could find in the ancient Roman ships.
In the Netherlands, you also have these type of boats, shallow and almost the same measurements, but they only have one mast. And here there are two.
La caratteristica di questa imbarcazione è che ha il fondo.
In the Mediterranean, and especially in the northern Adriatic Sea, the water is shallow. So of course the keels of the most of the boats are flat. In the northern seas, of course, the keel is much deeper, but not here. At that point, in order to enter even the shallowest waters, especially here in the Lagoon of Venice, it was required the ship was absolutely horizontal, and the second mast, beside the main mast, was used to counterbalance the boat.
Anche importante, dobbiamo pensare che queste imbarcazioni trasportavano dei pesi enormi, perché caricare.
Another reason why there are two masts on board is that this kind of boats were cargo boats. So of course they had to transport huge weights, and of course a huge quantity of sails, of fabric, was necessary to capture the winds. And so of course two masts means more sail.
Was the cargo from here all the way to the front, or more in the middle where you can still see some area?
Il carico essenzialmente era sotto coperta.
The goods were always loaded underneath this deck, and it was distributed all over the boat. Of course, the deck house did not exist, and just a small hole was used to go, let's say, downstairs.
This is the cargo area. So
This is the cargo area.
Goes all the way up front, and then in the back there was a small cabin for the
Yes,
captain.
on the right.
On the right.
Le barche adriatiche non hanno la chiglia sotto. Questo hanno il paramezzale, che è questo, che è sopra la barca.
What is really unusual about the ships in the Adriatic Sea is that the keel is not outside the boat, so it's not in contact with the water. Actually, you see it right here. This very large, wide beam is the spine of the boat. And you remember that the waters here are very shallow, so even if the boat got stuck into the sandy, muddy floor, no damage to the spine, to the paramezzale. That is the name of this very important beam. You can see the structure of the boat that is like a human body. So the spine and the ribs. In the past, the trees were grown in a shape that could be useful to build the boat. It is absolutely impossible to find the stortame. This is the name of those pre-shaped branches of the trees, and this is one of the many challenges that the association has to face.
Questa è una cosa interessante che prossima settimana.
One of the dreams that might come true is that a new wood to make the stortami will be created. So in a week's time, he's got an appointment with a representative of the Regione Veneto, the Veneto region, in order to create this new wood. Of course, probably we are not going to see the wood or the stortami because they will be ready in maybe 40 years, but maybe our sons, our grandchildren.
Il problema della città è che ha perso il rapporto con l'acqua.
Probably the reason why in Venice there is not a big interest in keeping the traditional line is that the city has lost its relation with the water. And so actually, yes, and so not so many boatyards left, not so many artisans left who are able to build or renovate or restore these boats. And so actually he's saying that he's an architect, so he takes care of the palaces, but he wants to take care also of the boats that made those palaces possible.
Giudecca heeft nooit een specifieke bestemming gehad. Hier tref je zowel kloosters aan als fabrieksterreinen, gewone woningen, scheepswerven, maar ook luxe palazzio's. Aan het begin van de 20e eeuw was Giudecca vooral populair als vestigingsplaats voor Europese kooplieden en families. Zij bouwden hier hun magazijnen en fabrieken, maar ook luxe villa's met uitzicht over de lagune en richting San Marcoplein in de stad. Na de Tweede Wereldoorlog raakten echter veel van deze fabrieksterreinen en huizen in verval. Een van de terreinen die in verval raakte was het Junghans fabrieksterrein. Junghans is nog steeds een Duitse fabrikant van horloges en klokken. En voor de Tweede Wereldoorlog vestigden zij zich al hier op Giudecca. Behalve dat ze klokken en horloges maakten, fabriceerden ze ook onderdelen voor bommen. Dat betekende dat tijdens de Tweede Wereldoorlog hier op dit terrein, in deze omgeving, zo'n 4000 mensen werkten. En ook na de Tweede Wereldoorlog bleef Junghans nog een van de grootste werkgevers hier op Giudecca. In 1971 moest de fabriek sluiten. En daarna raakte dit gebied in verval. Pas in de jaren 90 is er een architectenbureau uit Milaan erbij gehaald om dit hele gebied opnieuw te ontwikkelen. En dat hebben ze op een hele mooie manier gedaan. Zo is er in dit gebied een theater wat is gebouwd in de voormalige bunker van de fabriek. En hebben ze woningen gebouwd op de plek waar vroeger de fabriekshallen stonden. En ze hebben de structuur van die fabriekshallen nog in stand gehouden. Het enige echte wat je nog van de voormalige fabriek ziet, is de schoorsteen. Op Giudecca bouwden de Europeanen niet alleen maar fabrieksterreinen, maar ook prachtige huizen. We staan hier voor Villa Heriot. Villa Heriot werd gebouwd door de Fransman en multimiljonair Auguste Heriot. Rond 1926 werd dit huis en nog een ander huis hier op dit terrein opgeleverd. En het is gebouwd in een eclectische stijl. Dus die stijl waarbij verschillende bouwstijlen door elkaar worden gebruikt. Dezelfde stijl als die van de Zwolse synagoge die we in onze vorige aflevering hebben bezocht. In dit huis is er een mix van vooral Byzantijnse architectuur samen met Romaanse en Griekse architectuur. Deze villa, heel bijzonder ook van binnen, werd voornamelijk gebruikt voor grote feesten. Het was een partyhouse. En het andere huis, wat hiernaast staat, daar woonde de familie af en toe natuurlijk. Want ja, het was maar een tweede huis, om het maar zo te zeggen. Na de Tweede Wereldoorlog, rond 1947, toen Auguste Hériot zelf was overleden, heeft zijn weduwe het huis verkocht aan de stad Venetië. Ze heeft daarbij één voorwaarde gesteld. En die voorwaarde was dat er een school in het gebouw moest komen. En het liefst een basisschool. En dat is ook gebeurd. Jarenlang heeft in dit gebouw een basisschool gezeten. Maar nadat dat werd gesloten, is er een andere school ingegaan. En dat is de International Art University of Venice. Zij zijn hier begonnen met een opleiding voor restauratietechnici. Dus niet een restorer die een totaalplaatje maakt van wat er gerestaureerd moet worden, maar een opleiding voor mensen die daadwerkelijk die restauratie uitvoeren.
The school is very typical. There are 700 hours theoretical before chemistry, biology, history of art, history of architecture, and 250 hours on restore. L'Università Internazionale dell'Arte è nata circa 50 anni fa e si occupa attualmente di corsi di formazione per tecnici del restauro. Sono corsi finanziati dalla Unione Europea attraverso la Regione del Veneto e sono totalmente gratuiti per gli studenti che studiano in 3 anni il restauro della pietra, del legno, della pietra e delle superfici affrescate.
Yes.
17th century. They were very black. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to see anything. Now you can see after 1 year changing.
1 year?
1 year, yeah.
Already working
Yeah.
on this?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, maybe you can tell what you are doing?
Okay. In this part, I use the aquarello.
Yeah.
I use the water and I mix like this. And with this,
I can hardly see it.
yes.
So it's very detailed work. And are you a painter yourself in your free time?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you know a little bit already about
A little bit.
coloring. Yes. Just this wing? How long for you does it take to
3 hours.
3 hours? Okay. Yes. And are you always this patient and precise?
Yes.
Yes? Also in your house and cooking and cleaning, yeah?
Yes.
Wow. So what are you restoring?
This frame comes here from the Cini Foundation, and we supposed it's from a Tuscan production of 16th century. There were a lot of lost parts. We've reconstructed with calcium powder and animal glue, and now I'm retouching the new part with a lot of dots to see at naked eye the retouching. But when you're far from the object, you cannot see the retouching. Only if you know that there's a retouching and you know how a retouching is made, you can see.
We work for about 2 hours, then we stop for 15 minutes and then we restart for 2 hours. This in the morning and in the afternoon. When I was cleaning this part, maybe I did this piece in 1 day.
Cleaning.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But then, for example, I repaired the holes.
Yeah.
And it took me about 2 days for all of this.
And when needs it to be finished?
Maybe in 3 days.
Okay, okay.
So it's I'm finishing it.
Yeah, finishing it. Yeah. And then you have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I can imagine that sometimes it's difficult.
It's difficult, but I'm happy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Ladies first. Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Giudecca Art District.
Yeah.
It's a project that we run since 2017. We started with the first exhibition in the white space made with Israeli artists. In this place especially, there are still a lot of activities. We see a lot of artisans and we work together with these artisans. We have spaces where we run exhibition. Most of them are split into parts. A part with the artisan, the craftsman that works, and the spaces that are empty, we fill them with art. We're trying to create a collaboration between the artisan and us. With us, I mean not only the people that are here in Giudecca, but most of foundation, association, and other that are coming from Europe and other cities in the world.
Why did you choose to specifically come here to Giudecca and start this project?
Actually, we started in the main city in 2014, and what we saw coming here is that we have a completely different public. Of course, in the main island, there are a lot of people that are going around the city even without knowing what they are seeing. And they most of the time came to Venice and stay here for 1 day, probably 5 hours. They walk around without knowing what they are seeing. While here in Giudecca, we have a completely different public audience of people that are really interested in the city and especially in art. So they are coming here and they spend a day.
Can you tell us first where we are and how it's connected to the Giudecca Art District?
Right now we are in the heart of the project. It's because as you can see, we are not inside an exhibition space, but we are inside an artisan space. What Giudecca Art District is, it's a way to connect our heritage, our tradition, our living day as Venetian, as people that lives together with contemporary art. Contemporary art is something so present in Venice, you know, because we got a lot of foundation, we got a lot of galleries, we got thousands of different exhibition projects show that every 2 years I used to come to Venice and used to live Venice a bit. Something that we would like to do, it's not to give them just a frame, but to give them the opportunity to be Venetian and to give the artisan the opportunity to create a bridge and to create a dialogue with people from contemporary art that are artists, curators, researchers that usually are curious about the place that is guessing them.
So you are really trying to create a dialogue between normal Venetians and normal Venetian life and contemporary art and visitors that come here for the Biennale or as a tourist, so that the two worlds are not separate, but they are connected.
Of course, it's not something that we invented. It's something that belongs from our identity as Venetian and as Venice. In the ancient, all the studios of the artists, our great master, Titian, Tintoretto, Bellini, Carpaccio, were studios like this one, because they used to work in an artisan point of view. They used to build up our identity, because all art is contemporary. I think that doesn't exist contemporary art, ancient art, modern art. All the art that we can look at now, it's contemporary. So also those artists that right now are part of our history used to dialogue with the city and used to be part of the normal life of the city. Belonging from this idea, we start to work in that way, in a normal way. For us it's normal as Venetian to think about that art is part of our daily life. We got Biennale, we got François Pinault collection, we got Peggy Guggenheim, we got GATT Foundation, we got Prada Foundation. So we got all the huge foundation that belongs from all the world. But in the meanwhile, exists and used to exist a texture of art that it's something that it belongs from the city, just belongs from the city. And it's for that we are really focused on having residencies, having the opportunity for artists that are not Venetian to be Venetian for a while, you know, and to start also to change a bit their sight, because Venice, it's a place that can change you. And if you can come to Venice, you are going to be Venetian.
We hebben zojuist besloten dat we nog een aflevering gaan opnemen in Venetië. Niet alleen omdat het hier zo gezellig is en het heerlijk weer, maar omdat we een uitnodiging hebben gekregen van Gerolamo Fassini. Hij is de voorzitter van de Archeologische Club in Venetië. En hij gaat ons meenemen naar Lazaretto Nuovo, een voormalig quarantaine-eiland in de lagune. Die uitnodiging konden wij niet afslaan. Dus er komt nog een aflevering van Kampen naar Moskou in Venetië. Heb je genoten van deze aflevering? Geef ons een thumb up of een like, zodat wij ook weten dat je genoten hebt. Heel erg bedankt en tot de volgende keer.